lurking on shot 122 here. And I'll show you which one it is. They just threw the guy out of the car, and it's them just driving like this. And it's funny because right after the rookie throws the guy out of the moving car, he just takes a sip of coffee, which I think is hilarious. But anyway, because they move their heads around so much, I have 4 different rookie heads. So I make little piles of each head so I can put them together. Then 3 piles of chief head, and then Cochise, he stays steady. So we don't have to worry about making any more heads for him. But this shot here, because of the way the background, like they're driving down this alleyway, that's kind of like my final, like, so what did you learn doing this? Because this is a tricky shot. It's going to be pretty weird. I've been thinking about a lot of different ways of doing it. I think I have an idea, but yeah, it's fun to have this challenging shot this close to the end as well. So anyway, I'm going to start putting this one together. Lots of little stuff to deal with, but we'll get her done, kids. Put your paws in right now. Yeah, all right. Shot 122 has all been put together. You can have a look here. There we go. This is a background car. That's Cochise's hand. That's going to be on the steering wheel. The Chief's hand goes outside of the car and is holding the light. You can see all that stuff here. The Billy Club, that's on the dashboard. And then all the different rookie faces that we need to have, and all of his arms, and there's his tie. You can see on the tie there again, I had to like cut out the brown stripes and put them on. And also for all of these, this is all done like with a marker and a ruler. I just put these on, except for the cuff ones. I did that by hand because they're so tiny. And they have to be on an angle. So anyway, shot 122 is done here. Like I say, this is gonna be the trickiest one and the push to the end. But I'm stoked to get to it. All right, you know what else I'm stoked to? I don't need to do 123 because that's the Chief pointing at his head. We already have that, so I'm just going to reanimate the ones we have. And then, 124 is what I'm putting together next. It's a good one, kids. Let's do this! We're in here in shot 122, and I'm filling in all the buildings and stuff in the background. As you can see, there's a bunch. And right now, I'm working on this one here. And what I did was I took a shot of the car where it's going to be in the frame, got rid of it, did the ghostly image, as you can see right there. And now I have this piece of paper cut out to the same dimensions kind of it. And I'm moving it in frame by frame along with that one to make sure it matches up. You can even see right there, there's the outline of the door. And if you look up here, you can see there's that outline of the door. And I do this to kind of understand how big everything has to be, how it's all going to fit together, and just kind of be like, okay, it should work because it's already worked. So this is something I like to do. I don't know if you find that interesting. I think it's interesting. And I'm just going to keep doing that for all of these different layers and see how it turns out. Hopefully pretty good. Let's see how this turns out. Hopefully pretty good. Groundhog Day. Yeah, okay, so working on shot 122, and the way I was just doing it, completely wrong. Completely wrong. I realized it instantly. See, the thing is also, I've got 3 layers that I'm working with, and I was doing that one just on the ground. So as soon as I brought up the top layer, it went way too big. And it couldn't slide and do that the whole way because it's just an enormous building moving along, which works fine if you're going this way or that way. If you're going that way, not so good. So anyway, what I'm doing right now is I need to know where the car is going to be in the shot. And I can't just do the ghost thing when I get further in because it only works for the one before it, you see. So I am now going to trace out the car on this yellow paper, and I'm going to stick my tracing to the screen so that when I'm moving it, I know what we see and what we don't see. Because the thing is now, we've got these essentially 4 layers, including the ground. That one never moves. This one moves slow. And between these 2 here, as it moves and goes down and gets smaller, so it looks like it's going that way. Which, I don't know, maybe that's confusing, but when I got it going, maybe it'll make more sense. So, let's check it out, shall we? Yeah, it's just a quick little thing here. I'm laying this out. There's a lot of crazy things that I'm trying to figure out, and I've got to get around issues and figuring how to get around those issues and all that stuff. And it's a lot of fun. And I know that this is the last shot where that's really going to be apparent, where I'm like, how do I do this? How is this going to work? And hope that the way I am planning it to work might actually work. And I gotta say, that's kind of been the most fun thing about this project is like I didn't know what I was doing when I started this. Like I had really no real idea about how it worked. And getting around things and figuring things out has been like my favorite part, especially when it really turns out cool. It's like, man, that really worked out. And so right now you can see this is what I'm looking at. I got my page up there to be the stand-in things, but it's a lot of different levels, like literally. So, but it's a lot of fun, and I know that a lot's going into the shot, but if it all works out, it's gonna look effing dynamite. All right, kids, let's get back to it. Yeah, okay, I just finished doing the stand-in test with pieces of paper, and then I put on my other piece of paper that's going to be the car, all right? And so this here is what we've got. All right, I know what you're saying. You're like, dude, we can see them flop around and go cross over each other behind. And all right, two things. One, there's going to be a guy here and a guy here, which kind of cover up that. But what I am going to have to do, as you can see here, and this is only the top layer, not all the layers. And if I leave it like that, obviously you won't see the layers of the other walls and everything going that way. What I'm going to have to do is, when it gets behind Cochise and when it gets behind the chief there, every frame I'm going to have to cut off a strip of these sets as it goes, and then you'll see the smaller version on the other side of them on the other layer. So by the end of this, these sets will not even exist anymore. That's some Banksy shit right there, getting rid of that. But anyway, so yeah, that's the only way I can really think of doing it without doing it computerly afterwards. And I'm not like against doing anything computerly, but I just like doing it this way. And I think it's kind of cool that every frame I cut a piece off. So it has to be perfect first time, or else I have to remake the entire set of the first layer anyway, and then try it again. That's crazy. But anyway, let's get on to layer 2, these smaller things. This is taking a while, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, here we have shot 122 now. I've made all the stuff as like the practice stuff. And here you can kind of see like the depth of it and how it's kind of going to work like that. But they've all got these little handles on them. And even the one way up there has got this big long handle. And so the next thing I'm doing, my wife and I, we're going to tag team this one. She's going to use the one side, I'm going to do the other side. And we're going to see how it works in this test and make sure that it's going to work in the real thing. So I made doubles of everything. Here's all those ones there. And we got some over here too, because these are the ones, like this one here is going to be cut up as it moves along, because that's how, when it goes behind the car, and then it's going to turn into, you can see the door on this one, and then that one down there's got the door. So in the frame of the car, this one's going to turn into that one. And I just cut it off every time because that's the only way I can think to do it. So, all right, we're going to have this test coming up. And so let's get to it. Let's test some things out, shall we? Okay, I've gotten into the part where now I'm starting to trim off pieces of the building. And I think it's working out. I'll show you what we're looking at here. And you can see the ghostly image there of the ruler. And you'll notice it ends there and you don't see it because it's behind this. So then I take a pencil and I make a mark where the part of the ruler that you can't see behind the car, which I have done here. Boop. And now I just cut this piece off, and then it's hidden behind which will be the chief. And then I've got the other part down here. This little piece of wall is the continuation of that wall. And here you can see it just starting to peek out right there. And I'm also just starting to do it for that wall as well. And I've got another little wall right there. So anyway, it's working so far. I think it's looking pretty cool. Let's hopefully it finishes cool. You know what I'm saying? I sure do. Whoop. So this is obviously the test. And this is where I realized, A, how wrong I had things, and B, that I'm going to have to cut the pieces off of the buildings in order to make it look like they disappear. So the test really helped out the finished product. Okay, we have gotten the test done for shot 122. This is taking a long time, but I think it looks all right. Okay, so anyway, here, like, just kind of pay attention to the background and what we got going on there. See, just buildings kind of zooming by, that one background hardly moving. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at. And now here's what we got. I still have this taped down so you can see how it looks. And it looks like this. it's tricky because it's all like buildings are changing and it's just the yellow legal pad. But I think it's a successful test. I learned a bunch of things. Some things come in too early. Another thing is like I have the buildings kind of offset because that's how they are in the original one. When you see it on this, they kind of cover each other up. And I think going down through like right in the middle, or I guess if you're going this way, is a better way to go. But you can look down and see this is all of the sets that I had to cut off one frame at a time. And they're kind of everywhere right now. But I'm super stoked with this. I learned a lot. I think we're going to get going on the real one now. I just have to make all of these buildings and do all that other stuff because this shot's never ending. But that's all right. I love it. I hope you love it too. Let's keep going. Let's get this done. Whoop! So for this, my wife was working on the left side and I was working on the right side. And it really helped keep everything in check. In the end, I still think I messed up on the angles. But I learned a lot making this shot, and I can't wait to use it again in something in the future. Okay, here we are. Shot 122, part B, the green screen. And what we've got here, we got them in the car, and then the rookie, he pops up in the background, and he's got 4 heads. The Chief has 3 heads. And Cochise, he just holds strong. He only needs the 1 head. That's what's going on there. One thing that's going to be neat is his hands keep going around the steering wheel. And I'm only going to use 1 hand. Like this hand goes around and this hand kind of comes up and goes back down and kind of whips around. But I'm just going to use 1 hand. I want to see if it works. It'd be a fun little thing. Anyway, I'm super stoked to get back to doing this kind of animation. I'm really stoked to get this shot done, finally, and move on to the actual home stretch. And so, let's get on with this. 46 frames till the finish line, kids. I think we could do it. Let's do it. It's right. Meow. So a quick little thing that I kind of realized is, see, this is the dashboard behind it, and Cochise's hand has to come up over the steering wheel like this. But it's made this way and it's taped so nothing can go behind it. So now I found the original cutout of the steering wheel. I'm going to trace it and make it longer so I can tape it like way down here so his hand can then go on either side of it. That's something I had not thought of. And just kind of was like, oh, shoot, how do I do this? First, I do little pieces of hand and cut it up. And I was like, I'm done cutting things up. Let's just figure out another way. And this is the other way. I'll show you how it turned out right now. So just to show you how it worked out. Now that the steering wheel goes all the way down here and is taped here, his hand can now freely move in and out from behind it to make it look like he's steering the car. And that's it. That's all it was. But it was a weird little thing that I didn't think of. And a quick, which is always nice, a quick thing that worked to solve it. So anyway, that's all that was. I don't even know if that's interesting. I think it is. That doesn't mean it actually is, right? Right. After the intense planning and execution of the background of the shot, doing them in the car was so much fun. I love that the rookie takes a drink of coffee after he throws a guy out of a moving car. Amazing. Whoa, my goodness. Shot 122 is done. Obviously, I still have to put the green screen together and all that stuff. But here we go. Check this out. So here's what we want it to look like. Boop, pops up, takes a drink of his coffee, and Cochise's hands are driving like crazy. Chief just kind of looks around, right? All right. So now here's what we've got going on over here. Zoop, picks up, drink of the coffee. His hands whipping around. That's the same hand just showing up on different sides. And like Chief just kind of looking around. But I am like super stoked. The drink of the coffee, whoop, it looks so cool. And I am so relieved to get this one done. Here's the dude right there enjoying some coffee. After just throwing a guy out of a moving car, by the way. He just throws him out, sip of coffee. But anyway, all right. Special thanks to my wife who helped me put this shot together. I can't wait to move on from this one because boy, oh boy, this one took a long time. But anyway, let's get on with it. Shot 123. It's the place to be. I like rhyming all the timing.